We call it people technology.
Time seems to stand still in Sharjah sometimes, especially in these afternoon games where we go periods without anything happening, 10 dot balls in a row at one stage. In the end, some action in a last over bowled by R. Ashwin on a day where Delhi had just the five bowling options has given Mumbai 129 for 8 in what's a very important game for them, more than the Capitals who've already qualified for the playoffs. This is Maruti Suzuki presents ESPN Cricket for T20 timeout. Carlos Brathwaite was looking for exactly this kind of innings to stay up at about 5 a.m., 6 a.m. This is the kind of innings to get. Carlos, Sanjay Manjrekar had told us about Jayant Yadav's batting. Who knows? An 11 or 4 may very well be the difference in a low scoring game. Let me go to Carlos first up, assuming he did stay up for all 20 overs of that innings. 129, Carlos. What do you make of that score?
Fighting chance. They'll be disappointed again. The batters that got in got out. It felt as though they never really got any momentum into the innings. A nice little cameo, as Sanjay mentioned, from Jayant Yadav. So I would love to see him up the order if he potentially can be. But Surya Kumar Yadav got a start at a decent clip as well. It felt as though he got a good foundation, just didn't maximize it. But yeah, when you're out of form, you find a way to get out on a full toss. So yeah, it's been not a Mumbai type innings for sure.
It's not been a Mumbai type season, Sanjay, hasn't it? And this was another innings where there's so many things that you feel like, oh, God, what was happening there? Can you explain that Mumbai Indians innings?
Uh, at an important stage, the last kind of surface that they wanted was this guy. Mumbai Indians, I was just checking with our stats team about Mumbai Indians' record at Chennai when Chennai used to be a regular host of the IPL, and Chennai has always had slow turners. And even when Mumbai Indians was winning a lot of games and champions and all these guys that you're watching fail today were in form, Mumbai Indians still had the worst, third worst run rate at Chennai, amongst all teams. So a lot of other teams have batted better in Chennai. It's just their bowling quality that would have brought them back in the game. So when you look at the whole batting lineup, a lot of those hitters that you see, they like the ball coming onto the bat. And today was even slower than normal, where the seam bowlers also virtually 5 out of 6 balls, they were taking the pace off. And a lot of their batters struggled on a slow pitch. Another very disappointing batting performance because you can't just blame the slowness in the pitch and come up
Yeah.
with these kind of returns.
It's not like they only have batters for a good pitch or a good batting track, Carlos. These are experienced, almost legendary T20 players. I've seen Karen Pollard get runs on some really tough surfaces in 50 over cricket where no one else seems to get himself in. Somehow they just don't enjoy this, even though they've got enough test quality players, they've got enough experienced players, and they just don't seem to get it away on these sorts of surfaces, even against the faster bowlers like Nokia and Avish Khan today. Why do you think that is?
Rhythm could be a reason. When you're in form, when you're doing well as a team, and you come up against a slow, dead track, um, there's a bit more about you, and you start to think, there's a good challenge. When things are not going so well, you're finding ways to get out. As a team, you're finding ways to lose. Then every hurdle becomes almost insurmountable from the jump. So they will look at this thinking, crap, another slow track. It can be difficult. And then they lost the toss. I hope that in the dressing room it wouldn't be all doom and gloom, but as a team, as a collective, things not going your way, sometimes it can tend to seep in. Um, and then you make hard work of what's already a difficult scenario. Whereas Delhi, even if Delhi had to bat first, you see Delhi exude so much more confidence, so much more swagger because they're in a good moment versus the moment that Mumbai is in.
Let's talk a bit more about the Delhi Capitals bowlers, shall we? Because this is one of the best bowling attacks in the tournament. So, as much as we may criticize Mumbai, they lost a toss in what's a significant one in a big game against the best bowling attack. And it's not only because of Anrik Nokia and Rabada Sanjay, Avesh Khan. What a standout season for him. We keep talking about Harshal Patel. Here is this guy who gets wickets with the new ball, who comes back and makes life hard in the middle too. You like what you're seeing on him, even on these different sort of surfaces?
Yeah, he's got the balls to bowl on these kind of surfaces. the balls to bowl to certain batters because once Hardik Pandya got going and became dangerous, started picking length balls, the Yorker came out. He bowled a couple, one to Coulter-Nile. That was a terrible shot, by the way, Coulter-Nile, first ball up. So he has the Yorker that goes at a healthy pace. Then he's got the leg cutter that he uses as a stock ball. So somebody who knows how to use these kind of pitches. He's high on confidence, and good to see him continue his form in these conditions as well. So he's a brilliant third seamer to Nokia and Rabada. This is a guy who keep the runs down at the top of his game, confident as well, and he's got the range as a bowler, like we talk about Arshdeep Singh for Punjab Kings. They just got all kinds of deliveries for a particular situation.
I really like that, Carlos. What Sanjay has just said, that we perhaps don't appreciate that enough. We keep talking about batters that have the range, that can play all sorts of shots. We don't perhaps appreciate enough how many bowlers have all the different balls in their arsenal. And we spoke a lot about, Deepak Chahar, who's bowling better than a Bhuvaneshwar Kumar. We've spoken about Harshal Patel. Here's this guy, Avesh Khan, who can surprise Rohit Sharma at the top, who can surprise Hardik Pandya in the middle at the death with the Yorker. You like what you're seeing of Avesh Khan, the T20 bowler, as a package?
Yeah, I like what I see is okay having all the balls as well, but knowing when to use them.
Mm.
Sometimes that can be downfall of a bowler, especially a young bowler. So to see him knowing when, um, in which passage of play to bowl a certain ball to which batsman, I think that for me is more impressive. And we set out, I think, Coulter now, slow ball, then boom, 140, all the pegs on the floor. So it's little things like that with Hardik Pandya. He aiming at the base of leg stump. Obviously, Hardik is walking over or starting on off stump. He wants you to come down the channel on off stump, try to bowl a York or whatever, and if you miss, you're gone. He's gone into the base of leg stump, so it's cramped him for room. He's showing you some skills as well. You can see with the seam
Mm.
position, the only thing that ball can do is tail in and cramp the batter for room. So it's not only the fact that he has all the balls, it's how and when he's using them for me. That is as impressive, if not even more impressive.
It Of late, Sanjay, no matter who does well, you want to find a place for him in the T20 World Cup squad for India. That squad would be about 65, strength large if we have to go by that. But on a very serious note, we're discussing Bhuvaneshwar Kumar's lack of form. We're seeing Deepak Chahar, who's in the reserves, bowl well. Where does Avesh Khan stand in that? In terms of what is his pecking order? How tempted are you to say we could draft this guy in similar conditions into a World Cup squad because of just the way he's bowling?
Yes, current form, nothing like current form. Couple of years later, you wonder how Arshdeep Singh would be doing, or for that matter, Venkatesh Iyer or Avesh Khan. So on current form, they're right up there because this is an Indian Premier League, but there are some international high quality players playing in it, albeit there are a few domestic players too. And in the last few years, we are starting to see the benefits of having this league in our own country. A lot of local Indian talent emerging, T20 talent as well. So when you look at the Indian squad that's been picked and the guys who haven't made it, a lot of bowlers out there like Deepak Chahar not in the squad. You got Shardul Thakur not in the squad. Ashdeep Singh as well not in the squad. But tomorrow, if you need to find a replacement, they're high quality replacement, which is great, and those are the benefits of this Indian Premier League. And Avesh Khan is right up there because this performance has gone on for far too long, and he's been very consistent, which is always a feature or always a kind of an evidence that this is not a flash in the pan. So on current form, he's with that group, that high quality group that hasn't quite made it into the squad.
One guy who was in the squad was Akshar Patel. I know a lot of people in cricket on social media weren't quite sure of what to make of that selection. Is it a spinner too much? Is it an all rounder too much? Good effort from him today, Sanjay, and he quietly always almost does a job with the ball. 3 for 21 is an outstanding spell with three top order wickets at that. But Akshar Patel, where do you stand on him?
See Akshat Patel, when you watch him bowl, on a television coverage, you don't see the little nuances that he's got in his bowling. There are a lot of things that he does. There's a round arm there, sometimes a straight, kind of a ball that he undercuts and stuff like that. So that comes into play. Today I had a brilliant game getting Quinton de Kock when he was starting to look dangerous. Akshar Patel, never to be underestimated. He's a prolific wicket taker at the first class level. And just to give the evidence of Akshar Patel, he played on those rank turners against recently with that day night match in Ahmedabad and all. He outbowled Ashwin, one of the Indian greats on these pitches. And he outbowled him for a number of wickets in that series, and India didn't miss Jadeja one bit because Akshar Patel was equal to the task, if not better. And that tells you the class of Akshar Patel. As a left arm spinner, as a pure left arm spinner, he has to be the best that India has to offer in T20 cricket. But that's not to forget that he's got a great start to his Test career too.
And we have this thing of, oh, if there are two left-handers at the crease in a small ground, we can't bowl your left-arm spinner. Sometimes you think that's a bit overdone, Carlos. Got Quinton de Kock, got Saurabh Tiwari, who's been in decent form. He has tough surface to bat on, but Akshar Patel seems like he's good enough to bowl to left-handers or right-handers.
Yeah, he seems fairly versatile. And like what Sanjay mentioned, there's some bowlers that when you look at them bowl on the TV, you think, "Cha, he's so ordinary." But then when you face them or you talk to people that face them, they talk about a subtle variation, whether it be going wide on the crease, closer to the crease, where the ball hangs and dips a little bit. Those are things that you take for granted just watching telly. And he seems like one of those players that would be a nice Robin to a Batman. He will not be your most wickets. He will not be your most runs, but he seems as though he's someone that you could come in and you can count on to break a partnership. And as you said, left-handers is not the ideal matchup to bowl a left-arm spinner, but he's taking it on. He's gotten a couple of wickets as well. I remember we played a series in Bangladesh. We had three left-handers and Shakib Al Hassan still to bowl, and we thought, right, this is the matchup we're looking for. And Shakib come and got all three of them out and decimated our middle order. So although on paper you wouldn't want those matchups, if you find a bowler clever enough to execute to the team plan and to show subtle variations, actually it could be a matchup because then the batter, takes more onus on themselves to take an extra few risks and actually puts it right back into the bowler's hands.
Also, Ron, a quick point. If Delhi had the option of the sixth bowler, who knows? They may not have taken that risk of bowling a left-arm spinner to a left-hand batsman who's going well on a small ground. So one of the perks of just having five bowlers. I'm very happy for Akshar Patel.
Yeah, very fair point. If they had Lalit Yadav, maybe they've been tempted to bowl the off spin to
Or
the
a,
left
yeah,
hander.
or a Stoinis would have come and bowled
Also,
a couple of overs. Yeah.
fair point, absolutely fair point. As it turns out, there's also a talking point on Ashwin, the bowler, bowling the 20th then. But let's come back to that at the end of the game. I think the result will also dictate the tone of that conversation. Shaw and Dhawan have come out. So Steve Smith, you think three, Shreyas Iyer, four different Delhi batting. Carlos Brathwaite's favorite part. He's had a few days off. Let's see if he's going to keep his predictions running. Carlos, Delhi to chase this or Mumbai to make a fight of it and win?
Delhi, back in Mumbai to make a fight of it, I give them that, but Delhi to come up trumps.
All right, Sanjay?
Same prediction.
Very well. Let's see then if these fine gentlemen are right at the end of the game. Join us. What should be around 7 o'clock? We'll look ahead to the evening fixture. Important game for Chennai to just consolidate their position at the top. Rajasthan Royals, they look well. It's actually not that important now that I think of it, but we'll come to that. This one is an important one, Delhi Mumbai. So join us on Maruti Suzuki presents ESPN Cricket for T20 timeout, and we'll see how the Mumbai Indians have gone and what's a big game for them.
Thank you.
We call it people technology.